Hello darlings, I am Cassandra. Welcome back to part 2 on how to make the anti-anxiety healing sock doll Camellia. In this video I'm going to show you how to make her felt eyes and her felt lips. Darling, it's a little bit more complicated than it sounds, but I promise you it's worth the effort. So what you want to do is get a piece of felt. I love felt. Oh, I love felt. It is forgiving, it's firm, it's soft, it's you know what I mean, it's inexpensive, it's everything you could possibly want in a fabric. So what you're going to do is trace the shape of the doll's eyes onto the white felt. Now, if you don't have white felt, you can actually use any type of, I've used dish towels before, any type of firm fabric, but I like felt because I like the texture. It gives the eyes a depth, and like, you know, it looks alive when you add all the colors together, and then you add the clear coat glaze, and then, you know, oh my god, it's the texture that's really amazing. So you're going to cut out the shape now of the eye. Now, one of the things you'll see me do in the video is paint the doll's eyes on the doll. I actually, every time I do that, I always end up making a mistake. I don't know why I like to do it. Sometimes I get a little, you know, ahead of myself, and I'm not as cautious as I should be. So it's best to do all of your painting before you actually place the eyes onto your doll, because you really don't want those mistakes. Because once you put the work into creating the doll, stuffing the doll, making the doll, you don't want to make a mistake and get paint on her face because you didn't prep the eyes prior. So don't be like me. Don't make that mistake. So I'm just painting the sclera, the white part of the eye, white. And I'm using I think just any kind of white paint that you have, because we're going to go over it again with like a pearl type paint that's going to give it that, you know, that dreamy look. And so here I am just freestyling some eyebrows. If you don't feel comfortable, you can always, you know, go online and find like an eyebrow template. But I like to freestyle it, and you can, you know, like, again, we're talking about felt, and it's very forgiving, very inexpensive, and I'm just trying out what works. So the secret is, once you make one eyebrow that you're really super happy with, and then you just use it as a guide for the next eyebrow. Back in the day, I used to try to make them both at the same time, and it was so stressful. Like, I would make this eyebrow, and then I would try to make the next eyebrow, and one day it just dawned on me, just make the one and use it as a model for the next one. So yeah, so just work on one, perfect it, and then make the next one. So here, once you have completed the, you know, painting the sclera, you want to go ahead and hot glue it onto your doll's face, and then after that, I'm going to show you how I make my the pupils. Yeah, is it the pupils? The iris. I'm sorry, guys. The iris, which is the color part of the eye. Which this is the part of the iris. Is the part of the eye, in my opinion, that make the doll look alive. And I know this is going to sound a little bit, you know, a little crazy, because, you know, I am. I'm not happy with my dolls until I'm a little bit afraid of them, until I look at them and start thinking like, are you looking back at me, or what? Are you alive? Once I get that feeling of that eeriness, that otherworldness, I shouldn't say eerie. Once I get that otherworldly feeling, as if the doll is looking back at me, then I feel like, okay, this is gonna work. I like this. I like feeling a little bit like, you know, that's the type of effort you put into making your doll eyes, even if you're using felt. So I am tracing the outline of the sclera, the white part of the doll's eye, onto the doll. Again, I think you can also trace the outline of the white part of the eye before you place it on the doll, which I think is a better idea, because I actually made a mistake in this video. It's a little mistake, wasn't too bad, but again, you want to do all of this work before working on your doll, because you're bound to make some mistake that you're going to have to live with. Now, I like to use puffy paint to outline my doll eyes, but it is not absolutely necessary. You may use whatever type of paint that you feel comfortable with. So now we're going to move forward to making the iris, right? The color part of the eye. So what you want to do is find a piece of felt, the color that you want your doll's eyes to be. Now, I know you may think, well, why can't I just, paint it on white? You can, okay? But you still want some of that color to come through. I've tried it a variety of different ways. It's your doll, and you can be as creative and do whatever you like. But I like to use the basic color that I want for the doll's eyes. Here I'm using gray. Gray is one of my favorite colors from doll eyes. And I'm using this nail polish. I have used acrylic paint, but nothing gives that doll eyes, the felt doll eyes, the ooh la la, the otherworldly, alive look like nail polish. Yes, nail polish really brings that felt to life, child, let me tell you. And it shimmers, it drinks it in, and it highlights the peaks and the valleys, you know what I'm saying, of the felt. Oh my God. So when you add your clear coat glaze, it looks almost like a planet or outer space or something like that. So once you select the color of your felt, you want to use the nail polish that complements that color. So if you're using gray felt, some shade of a gray nail polish. And then in the center, it's best to let it dry. You want to put your highlight color. And this color is this pop of color in the center is going to bring that color to life. Now, it is best to let the base color completely dry, okay? Because if you don't, sometimes when you place the other nail polish on it, it'll just drink it up, or it will absorb it, and you won't be able to see it. So if you let each layer dry, oh my goodness, then it will pop. You know what I'm saying? So I'm adding, and I like to do batches. I always work in batches because it's best to let the eyes dry overnight. I know I'm a very impatient person, and if you're going to go through the trouble of making felt doll eyes, it's best to make a variety of sizes and colors. Either use a nickel for this doll. I mean, you're free to use this pattern, but it's best to use a dime or a nickel for the iris. The dime is a little bit smaller and the nickel is a little bit bigger, but always give yourself options, because I'm telling you, child, once you put the doll face together, once you start creating her face, the eyes that you had originally selected for her, the doll may reject those eyes. Like before you hot glue them on, you're going to, just put them on the doll's face gently. You're not going to attach them, and you're going to determine if the doll is going to help. She's going to let you know, or he's going to let you know if this is a good fit, and you'll put those eyes on, and you'll feel like let me just say this. When you set the eyes on the doll's face and the doll's face come alive, those are the correct eyes. But if you know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of times I have an idea, like these are the eyes for this particular doll. And I always, like I said, I always make a batch. I always give myself options. And when I go to place the eyes inside the doll, I can see immediately that those aren't the eyes for that dog. Like you will feel it. Trust me on this. So after I do my layer of colors, which we have the the base color and then the pop color, I always like to do a little bit of gold, and then I put something with glitter, like a goldish glitter on the side. And then I add like the pupil, which is the little black dot in the middle. It doesn't need to be that big because you're going to put clear coat glaze on it, which is going to cause it to have an HD effect, a 3D effect. And the tear duct area, I like to put a little touch of rose pink, darling, to make it look more alive. I love the pink. It just kind of it just highlights it. And it gives the doll, like, I don't know the words I'm looking for, but that little pink there in the corner in those tear ducts, that's everything. So now we're going to move to making the eyelids. Now you can make the eyelids any length that you like. Some people like the eyes a little bit more open, a little bit more dreamy looking, which is a little bit longer. So what you want to do is always, it's not a big deal because we're using lovely felt, which is very inexpensive and very flexible and firm and soft. Oh, it's just everything. So I like to cut out an eyelid that is probably going to be longer than needed, and then size it. Like, see here, the eyelid is longer than I would like. So I'll just look at the eye. Remember, we're just going to do one at a time. And I'll say, I'm going to cut a little bit off. And once I get the one eyelid perfect, I use it as a model for the second one. And I go ahead and cut it off. Now, I'm going to glue the eyelid onto Camellia with my crystal coat glaze. And the reason I like the crystal coat glaze is because it it dries completely clear. And I love that it dries clear. And when you're working with your dolls, you really want to make as few mistakes as possible. Now, you could use hot glue as well, but hot glue kind of leaves like a milky white appearance if you make a mistake and leave a little bit out. But the crystal coat glaze is just fabulous. And you could also ladder stitch it, but again, that's more manipulation of the doll's face, which will put you in a position to make more mistakes in terms of leaving a fabric run in the sock. And you don't even know, like, that has happened to me at least a few times where I was almost completely finished making a doll and this fabric ran, like with a run in it, like a pantyhose run, child. Oh, no. So you really don't want to over manipulate a sock doll's face because, of course, the fabric is so fragile. It's like a soft knit. So after you finish gluing on the eyelids, we're going to move into preparing her lips, which is my favorite. Her lips are just this beautiful raspberry color. Oh, they just bring her face to life. So what we're going to do, just ahead of time, we're going to take whatever color felt that you prefer for her lips, and you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to just literally draw the shape of the lips onto the fabric and onto the felt fabric. Now, you might want to use a pen. I like to use those gel ink pens. Let me see if I have one. Oh yes, they're called Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is my favorite, and you might want to coordinate it with the color of the doll's lips, so that if for some reason the ink shows, the color will actually add a little ooh la la. You know what I'm saying? So you're just going to go ahead and draw the shape, and then you're going to sew around the pattern. and as neatly as you can, make really small stitches. I like to do I don't know the name of it, but you go up one and you go back one. Is it called the back stitch? But I like to make it really fine and small, and I like to do it with my hands. I mean, you can do it on the sewing machine, but when I'm sewing things that are really small like this, it just seems to me like I can control my lines better if I sew them. So, yeah, so we're finished pasting or gluing on the eyelids. Oh, one more thing I want to tell you about the eyelids. When you are using the crystal glaze, it's best to let it become a little tacky. Like if you've ever worn eyelashes before or put a weave in your hair, child, you know how you want to wait until the glue is a little tacky and then so things will stick better. Well, that's how the crystal glaze works. So you want to put it around her eye and then let it dry a little bit, not all the way, just tacky, and then you want to put the eyelid on. And I also use the crystal glaze to add the eyelashes to her lids. Now I noticed that a lot of people like to put their lashes under the lid. That's okay. I mean, if that's the look you prefer. I like the lash. I prefer the lash on the top of the lid. I don't know why. I think it defines it. It defines it a little bit more. Look at those eyes. They're so beautiful. She's so beautiful. So now here are the lips. Don't they look juicy and shiny? Even though this is felt, guys. Felt is a very, very, very flexible, and it can be as calm as you want it to be, as luxurious as you want it to be, as fancy or as everyday, in terms of making things with dolls. That's what I like about it. And I like the firmness of it. And I love how, it's, what do I want to say about it? It's very forgiving. It can take a few, nicks and it's, like if you make a mistake, like for example, I'm trying to open the lips so I can flip them. Felt it's going to forgive me. It's going to be okay. I can cut it a little bit and pull on it. It's not going to run. It's not going to become misshapen. It's very nice. It's just very nice to work with. So I'm flipping out the felt lips, and then I'm going to stuff it with my Morning Glory Fiberfill. Child, that is the best Fiberfill. Morning Glory or Mountain Mist, either one. You see that nice little hole? Yeah. So I'm going to stuff the lips. I'm going to be careful to keep the shape, the M shape on the top. I think it's a line for it. It's right under your Cupid's bow, right? Under your nose, but I'm not sure what the name of the line is. But I think that's important. And after I finish stuffing it, I am going to, usually I like to take my Jelly Roll gel pen and draw the line across the lip and then sew and use that line as a guide to create the illusion of separate lips. But I'm just freestyling in this video, but it actually, most times I think it looks better when you actually draw the line because you have a guide. So, but I'm freestyling because I just want to show you guys how to do it. Look how juicy those lips look. Don't they look amazing just to be felt? I love those lips, man. So, and after you finish sewing them, you are going to hot glue them onto Kamalia's face, darling. And after I hot glued my lips onto my doll's face, I actually ladder stitched it around as well. I didn't show that in the video, but it's good to ladder stitch it. Most times I just ladder stitch. I don't typically hot glue my lips on, but the thing I like about hot gluing is that once you are able to center the lips to your liking, they will remain in place as you ladder stitch them. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can tell my doll lips are a little lopsided because I have, you know, ladder stitched it without any, and I have nothing to hold the lips in place. But the downside about hot glue to me is, you know, just make sure that it is exactly the way you want it, because if you try to take the lips off and reposition them, now you have this stain, or you may perhaps not even be able to remove the lips without tearing the fabric. Whereas if you hot glue the lips, which is, you can always take them off later and reposition them, or even put on a different pair of lips that you like better. So now that she has her beautiful earrings, and I have already put on her little outfit and her little acrylic gemstone studs to accent her nose, Camellia is ready to bring peace and joy and harmony into your life, darling, stress-free. In the next video, I'm going to show you which gemstones and herbs that you're going to use to put inside of your Camellia anti-anxiety healing sock doll to relieve any stress. I mean, she is just an amazing doll to have. And this is just some highlights from her oracle deck that I created, as you may have observed in a previous video. But I'll be giving you more, showing you more of her deck and the tarot deck holder that I've created for her as well. I'll do a DIY for that as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.